Well, hello, I'm Charlene Gunter, the Senior Director for the IPC Education Foundation, and today I'm meeting with Henry Crandall. He currently serves as the third IPC Board of Directors Student Member Liaison, and as a student member of the IPC Student Chapter at the University of Utah. He is active in his current term as a board member, and in this role, it is focused mainly on bringing a fresh perspective to the table based on students' needs and aspirations. And as a representative of his fellow IPC student board members, he has been an active member in participating in IPC Board of Director meetings. So Henry, thank you so much for your time. I know that we are in the current process of finding your replacement that will be taking over January 2024. And I just want to get to have you share your current experiences and what this opportunity meant to you. So, hi, Henry.
Absolutely. Hi, Charlene. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's
You
uh
was
it's just so many opportunities I've had with IPC. And when you listen like that, it's just it's great. IPC's been wonderful to me. Um and the other
and I
thing is,
know.
man, it's sad. It's sad that I'm coming to the end of my term as the student board of director. It has been such an incredible experience that I uh I would beg and plead let me stay on longer, but I know it's not a possibility. And I definitely want to make sure that another student gets this incredible opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, as a PhD student, you have to juggle a lot, like academic responsibilities and giving your time. I have heard some wonderful things. You've been so proactive. And I think it would be wonderful if you can share some of your experiences and some tips and guidance to your successor. So Henry, what does it mean to serve in this capacity and on the IPC Board of Directors?
Yeah, I'll just put in a little plug here. I'd say from a student perspective, this is the single greatest opportunity you will have during your collegiate education. It is almost like, I hate using the word unprecedented because that word gets used all the time stuff, but it's really extraordinary that IPC gives this level of responsibility and opportunity to a student. So when you're on the IPC board of directors, you are going to have, like from a responsibility perspective, it means that you attend all the board meetings, you participate in the discussions, you prepare by reviewing all the materials that they send you. And you're really, you're there, you have a seat at the table, you're engaging in discussions about finances and strategy, talking about the future of the organization. And really, as the student board member, you're trying to bring that young professional, student perspective to this room of uh, people that are more seasoned, maybe we'll say more experienced, but don't have that kind of freshness that we have. And then from a student perspective, and it's incredible. Like the level of networking and interaction that you have with some of these, very impressive and high-ranking corporate executives. It's just like it's impossible for a student to have this. And it's not just like a networking event. You're there spending like weekends with them. You're spending hours on end. You're eating meals together. I mean, I can't say negative thing about this role.
That's wonderful. And it seems like it is a qualitative kind of experience. You have then the opportunity to make it your own. And you, as an individual, have then the opportunity to develop in ways and in areas that you probably never even knew you needed growth in. And I think you learn so much from yourself, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's an experience that you go into it and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been given this huge opportunity. I want to go in and contribute. And as meaningful as the contributions that we bring are, it's like what we get away from this experience is, it far outweighs like what we contribute. I wish it was different, but just with the 1 year we have, and it says more about everything that we have available to us.
And how important do you think it is looking back from where you are now in your life, your professional career, academic career, to actually, as a student, serve in a leadership role?
For me personally, it's been a huge part of my personal growth. I think that school we go to school first and foremost just to develop skill sets. And a big part of that is getting uncomfortable, taking on more responsibility than feels maybe normal or feels like we can handle at that time. And so absolutely, it's a mindset that students should adopt, that you want to actively seek out those roles and show some proactivity, go after them. If you don't feel like you have those roles available, there's a golden opportunity right here at IPC. There's plenty of opportunities there. And otherwise, go make some leadership opportunities. Be proactive. If you don't find what you're looking for, go make something. Yeah,
That's very
for me
valuable
personally,
advice. Yeah.
the opportunities I've had, it's been awesome. It's I've tried to take advantage of things inside of IPC and outside of IPC, and you do grow a lot in those experiences. So I can't speak to
So,
them enough.
so how have you grown? Like, what have you learned about yourself the past few months?
I'll say there's a lot of things I've feel like I've personally taken away here. Just some of it's knowledge. Some of it's knowledge, right? So it's been really enlightening to see how an organization as large as IPC is run at the very highest level. I always thought that the CEO and maybe his executive team were the ones that were steering the ship and kind of held that responsibility and accountability for the organization. But I learned that that actually kind of lies with the board of directors. They have the largest role in that. And the typical like corporate pyramid structure, we think the CEO's at the very top, and then he or she doesn't answer to anyone, right? But actually, the board of directors is above the CEO, and they have that chain of accountability and responsibility. And other than that, interacting with these high-level business executives has been profoundly insightful. Hearing their advice for young professionals trying to figure out how do we set up our career, how do we make it in life, it's been really inspiring to hear what they've said. And it's definitely filled me with hope and ambition. Because what I've seen from the board you know, as a whole is that these are a group of people that have worked really hard. They put their nose to the ground and they've kind of they rose up through the ranks, they made it happen, and it's just inspiring to see that, oh, this is what's attainable in this industry as as an engineer, as a business leader. That's what's possible.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you were amongst the action. You were sitting there at the table, and I believe from all of the conversations, the connections, connecting to these industry leaders, as well as, IPC leadership, how has this opportunity in a way shaped your initial thoughts of potentially entering the industry? Because I know from an academic perspective, when you look into PhD, it's academic. You're soon Dr. Henry Crandall. Now, how has this shaped you to actually enter the industry and take on a position and take a career kind of path into electronics manufacturing?
Sure. So I've always thought that I'd find my future career in industry somewhere. And I've always been very intrigued by the electronics, manufacturing industry. I'm impressed just by how widespread it is. Every engineering product you can think of, it pretty much touches. So at some point in the design and construction, or whatever you're doing, you're going to be touching this industry. But one of the biggest new perspectives I've had through this position is just how critical this industry is at the national level. I filled this role during this interesting time where we were coming out of the pandemic and everybody realized just how important semiconductors and electronics are for supply chains and just the economy in general. How many people were waiting on cars because they couldn't get the necessary electronics to make the things run. And so it's been really eye-opening and also empowering to see the spotlight come on this industry, and it's kind of having maybe a much needed recognition. It's robust, it's completely essential, and I think more people in government and just the larger population are gaining an appreciation for that, which is, I think, really welcome.
Wonderful. And what advice do you have for your successor?
Man, I would say enjoy the journey, and it the places you'll go, the people you meet are, like I've mentioned, it's kind of once in a lifetime opportunity for you as a student to engage in this activity. The other thing I would say is just don't worry about feeling like an imposter. It's impossible when you walk into a room of people that are much more senior and experienced than you, and um, they've been doing things for decades, and they're at the top of organizations, and you're there like, I'm just a student, and it's completely natural to feel like an imposter. But one of the biggest things that changed my mentality about that is the CEO of IPC, John Mitchell, he met with me individually and said, you're a full-fledged board member, just the same as anyone else in that room. And your opinion is just as valuable. So be confident, open your mouth, share your perspective. That's part of the reason you're there.
Well, Henry, I want to say thank you for your time that you took to serve the students of IPC, to support the IPC Education Foundation, to be that valuable voice, to be proactive, build connections. You truly owned and earned your position as a board member. And I know thank you is just words, two words, lots of letters, but I hope that you take it to heart. And I have then just one thing to also share is that we wish you all the best in your future endeavors, because we know that the doors will open. We value you as a member and as an ambassador of IPC and the foundation moving forward in your life and your career. And just wondered if you have any final thoughts that you would like to share.
Yeah, but thank you so much for everything you've shared, Shirley. And it's been nothing short of incredible to work with you and the Education Foundation, and then everyone at IPC. My impression is just an incredible close-knit community, and that's, I think, pretty hard to find in some industries. But the last thing I would want to share is just a sentiment that I've heard from people on the board, where they've kind of all chuckled and said, man, I never would have guessed I would have ended up in the electronics manufacturing industry. And they've all kind of shared that they, just through opportunities and doors opening, they've fallen into these roles. And as I reflect back on what I'm kind of considering perhaps the peak experience in my education is this board of director opportunity. I just thought about my own journey to this spot, and it's the exact same. I remember maybe a sophomore, I had two internship offers. One was from an electronics manufacturer, and then one was from a company that does the electrical design for construction for buildings. So they do like lighting and outlets and stuff. And at the time, it seemed like a pretty inconsequential decision. I ended up going with electronics manufacturing, and it's just been amazing, the doors that have opened since then. And yeah, I'll just echo that there's opportunity in this industry. A lot of us just fall into it, but it's a great community and a great organization. And I'm lucky to be part of it.
Well, thank you, Henry. Appreciate your time. Please keep us posted, and we will keep an eye on you moving forward. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.